My great pleasure to welcome you all for this faculty development program, fourth day session. Today's our resource person, Dr. Kumaran sir, is with us from Amrita University. Now I request our Dr. Vamsi sir to introduce the resource person to the respected participants. Sir.
Thank you, Chakanathan sir. Good evening to all the participants. It's my great pleasure to introduce today's resource person, Dr. Kumaran sir, Assistant Professor in the Department of CSC, School of Computing, Amrita Vishwavidyalayam Peetam, Bangalore, India with us today. He has extensive experience in teaching and research with focus areas including network security, privacy preserving techniques, data mining, machine learning, and cybersecurity. His contributions include research publications in security and privacy, and he actively guides faculty and students in advanced computing and security domains. Dr. Kumaran sir will be delivering a session today on cybersecurity essentials in computing. His session will cover essential concepts and techniques in cybersecurity, providing a crucial understanding of how to secure modern computing systems. We are honored to have Dr. Kumaran sir as a distinguished speaker on day 4 today of our FDP program. His session on cybersecurity essentials will bring deep insights into secure systems and privacy aware computing. I now hand over the session to you, sir. Over to you. Sir, please, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Opsi, for your kind words.
Welcome, sir.
My humble pranams and my humble salutations to all the participants who were actually sharing your precious time in this evening. A wonderful evening to one and all. And adding to Vamsi, actually, I want to add thing like that. I am passionate about this domain. So cybersecurity is one of the integral part of my life. Like that only I can say. And thank you for the wonderful opportunity. I thank the management of Madanapalle Institute of Technology and Science, MITS, and the organizing committee, Dr. R. Kalpana, uh, professor and head. Also, coordinators, my dear friend, Dr. K. Chokanathan sir, and Dr. Vamsi, and the co-coordinator, Mr. K. Muhammad. So I actually, without them, so this program will not be actually happening now. This program is materialized because of their hard work. And before to start this session, I want to have some kind of, I want to share some kind of concerns. Like we are in the online session, and next couple of minutes we are going to be together. And in this, probably by 60 to 75 minutes, I'm going to share the contents, whatever I did a research on last my 7 to 10 years, maybe from 2015. I'm actually doing this research on this cybersecurity domain. So when I'm going to share these kind of ideas, I request the participants to be actively involved and take a notes. Okay, if you have any scribbling pad or pen, take a notes. And whenever you have any doubts, you can write the question. At the end of the session, we have a discussion, we have a Q&A. And one thing I want to tell you is people who are attending this session will not be the same person while you're going when you're completing this session, because there should be a takeaway. Then only there will be a purpose of conducting this kind of organization, organizing this kind of FDPs. So with this humble request, we'll start. And I'm going to give justice for the next 90 minutes. It's not only 90 minutes, it's 90 into 62 participants. So like that, I'm just giving the importance for the timing. For having the better streaming quality, I will disable the video. Okay. Am I audible to all? Is my voice, it's okay for you, or shall I
Yes,
increase
sir.
the
Yes,
tone?
Perfect, sir.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yeah, fine. So thank you. I'm just requesting all the audience once again, the active participation. I'll make this session as lively as possible. Okay. So let me share the slide. Please acknowledge me when you can see. So I couldn't share the screen actually. Vamshi, can you look into this? I'm sharing the
Yes,
entire
sir.
screen.
Entire
I
screen.
couldn't.
We given power permissions to you, sir.
Yeah.
Took a present.
Something went wrong. Try again later.
Is it coming now, sir? Sir, your screen is coming now, sir.
Yeah.
It's visible, sir. Clear.
Yeah, fantastic. So, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Audible, sir.
Yes, fantastic. Very good evening, one and all. So today, actually, we are going to discuss the cybersecurity essentials in computing. And cybersecurity, I can tell you like that there is no time for relaxing in the cybersecurity world. Why I'm saying this means in a cybersecurity realm, a peace of mind condition is never actually achieved. Okay, because there are always new types of cyber attacks are constantly being devised, and it causing the cybersecurity experts and administrators to be constantly on guard against the potentially damaging occurrences. So this, by definition, I can tell you like that cybersecurity is nothing but a system when it achieves confidentiality, integrity, and availability, then we can say a system is said to be a secured one. But theoretically, it's okay. But when I want to explain the concepts of cybersecurity in the matter of 90 minutes, it is equivalent to offering you drinking water in the fire hose, because that kind of a contents are there. And to make it more interesting and make it more livelier, so I have a strategy now. I'm not going to discuss in the bookish way. I'm going to discuss everything in a real time way in the real world. Okay, so what is the agenda of this presentation? Telling you like protection in 3 layers. That's the agenda today. So I'm going to tell you how to protect the what digital data, equipments, and the software, everything in the protection. So I'm just giving you the analogy of your house or your office, whatever it is. So any building can tell it is, there are three things are there. What we call it as outer perimeter. Outer perimeter is the compound wall, other things. And second is the inner perimeter. That is, it's just next to your living hall. It can be a exterior wall or doors, windows, it's everything in the inner perimeter. And interior. Interior is nothing but actually your living hall or your cubicle in office, like that. So this is the agenda. You just take, I'm going to apply the same analogy of house in your computer. Okay. So this is, we call it as physical security. Once you understand the physical security, we will extend this analogy to the cyber security. Okay. The outer perimeter is actually the compound wall. Okay. And that's a physical line that marks the circumference of the property. And the inner perimeter, it's actually the walls, the doors, windows. That's depending on the context of the outer perimeter. And the interior is nothing but your building, office, cubicle, like that. So similarly, now you have an assumption in your mind. Now you imagine how computer can be make into a 3 layers of security. So here, this is the 3 layers of security. Outer perimeter is nothing but the hardware, whatever you can see, the physical equipment you can see and you can touch, whatever it is, the outer perimeter. And the inner perimeter is nothing but which is acting as an interface between the outer perimeter and the interior. That's called, the interior is nothing but the digital data, what you are working. And the inner perimeter is nothing but the operating system, that is the application software and the system software. Without that, we cannot interact with the physical device and the software. So the next 90 minutes going to be organized by protecting these 3 layers. I'm just giving this 30 minutes for each section, so that you will understand. Instead of simply listening this, you are going to learn what are the counter measures are there, what are the control measures are there for the attacks. Okay, so cyber security is nothing but study about the terminology called what vulnerability, exploit, threat, attack, and what are the control measures for them. And we are going to discuss for the next couple of minutes about in each layer what are all the various attacks will be there, possible attacks. Knowing only attacks, that doesn't give you the purpose. I'm going to tell you in what are all the ways you can apply the cyber security technology so that you can protect your valuable assets. Okay, and I am really interesting to answer all your questions. So whatever the questions you have in your mind, please make a note in your scribbling pad. At the end of the conversation, I love to hear from you all. Whatever the question it is, up to my limited wisdom, I'm ready to answer you. Okay, I think with all this thing, I'm going to start. We are going to pitch in into the actual content. Okay, so first we are going to compare this. I told you outer, inner, and interior. The physical example, you can say it is property lines, the gates, the main gate, external wall, and the actual vault, the inside room, the inner room. In cybersecurity equivalent, I can tell it is what are the control measures. I can use firewalls, routers, demilitarized zones, honeypots, extranets, like that. And then for the here the inner perimeter, I can use using authentication, access control, authorization, Kerberos, multi-factor authentication. There are a lot of things we are going to discuss. And in the interior, for the data, the digital data, you will protect the digital data by means of encryption and also some kind of database privileges. So we are going to discuss all the things in the upcoming slides. Okay, first, I'm not going to discuss the outer perimeter or interior. I'm just taking the in between. That's called what inner perimeter. Why I took this inner perimeter? Because it is the most unsung hero of any security topics. People will not, they will straight away discuss about what is confidentiality, what is integrity, what is availability, and they straight away come to the countermeasures. They will not touch about this inner perimeter. There is something called what is operating system, which is positioned in between the hardware and the application software and the data. So without that, we cannot access that. So nobody is showing interest about to explain in what way you can protect this inner perimeter, which is in between both the the physical devices and the data. Okay, so for the benefit of you, I consider that if what is confidentiality, integrity, and availability, these 3 definitions definitely everyone should know. So I can tell you like a definition way. While explaining in the concept, I can tell you clearly. So first of all, CIA, it's the security mantra. We security professionals, we call CIA as a security mantra, because without that, we cannot define a security actually. What is confidentiality? It's nothing but when a sender and receiver are there, whatever a sender sending the data is only viewable to the receiver only. Other than the receiver, no one has the ability to view the data. That is called what? Confidentiality. And what is integrity? Integrity is nothing but message sent is equal to message received. If a sender send a data as an apple, is a data he's sending to receiver, receiver should receive the data as apple. The data should not be fabricated as pineapple, or the data should not be modified as banana, or the data should not be injected as apples. It should be received as apple only. So the integrity is nothing but the quality of the data with accuracy. It's called integrity. And the third called what is availability. Availability in the sense when a sender sends the data to the receiver, receiver should receive the data at all the times or in the required times. So all the times the data should be available to the receiver. So when you achieve this CIA, it is called what? Confidentiality, integrity, and availability. Then we can call it as a secure system. But the thumb rule of security teach us, like whenever you are opening a new brand system, you have to work in the system in the assumption of the system is already compromised. That is the Kerckhoffs principle. That's a security thumb rule. That means under the sun, above the earth, security, 100% security is actually theoretically possible, because that's why our domain is always livelier. When compared to all the other domain, every hour, hundreds of attacks are actually devised. One statistic says, country like India, every day, 1 million new attacks are actually devised. So that kind of a huge research quest is there for this particular domain. Okay, let us start with this protecting the inner perimeter. How the inner perimeter is actually protected. So first thing is that about the operating system. Okay, so can I get a confirmation? My voice is okay, right? My slide everyone can view the slide, right? I'm in slide number 7. Can I get a response?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Slide number 7 only, sir. Yes.
Yes. So my voice, everything is fine, right? I
Yes,
hope.
sir. Fine, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect, sir.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So please, whatever the doubts you have, make a note. At the end of the session, we'll clarify that. Okay. So first, I'm telling you, like, the operation of the application program and access to the files are actually controlled by the operating system. Operating system, it's actually coordinates the operation of the hardware and the devices, okay, with the applications. So I told you software is divided into two. One is called application software, another one is system software. System software are nothing but operating system, compiler, loader, linker, interpreter. All those things are coming under system software, the software which supports the system to run. And application softwares are nothing but, that's the second type of software called what is application software. We call it as apps. In the mobile phone, you're using apps. Application softwares are actually specifically for only one purpose. For example, railway reservation system, health monitoring system, employee attendance system, student mark system, like that. Every apps that only do the specific work only. So with that, these two things are coming under the software, and it is coming under operating system software. So without this operating system software, it is responsible for keeping track of where data is stored in the system and how it can be located and how it can be accessed. Dear audience, I'm telling you, therefore, to access the data on a computer, you must gain access to the running system, which is controlled by its operating system. Without the operating system, you cannot take control of the system. So for an attacker, for a developer, both the people, operating system knowledge is very, very inevitable. I'm telling you, hackers, if they come to know the version of your operating system, for that, they have a ready-made attacks. They will launch the perpetuate the attacks on the system. So operating system plays a vital role. And the OS, that's why I call it as a barrier. Barrier means what? It's protecting what? It's responsible for finding, organizing, and protecting the data as well as applications. Here I want to tell you, there are 3 classes of protection I want to tell you. What is this 3 classes of protection? Like how to say that let's divide the computer operating systems used with intelligent control devices, okay, into 3 general classes. Okay, what are the 3 general classes? First one is called standalone systems. What is standalone operating system? Please make a note. What is standalone operating system? So these are the operating systems that can be operated independently. Standalone systems are nothing but the operating systems that can be operated independently without any external communications. Okay, so this class of operating system include what we are using: Windows, Mac, Android based versions found on consumer computers, your mobile phones, all are coming under standalone operating systems. Okay, next you talk about client operating system, the second one. What is that client operating system? Client operating systems are designed to work in a network environment. In particular, they are designed to take advantage of the services provided by a master computer called server. Okay, so they are take advantage of the services provided by the server. That's why it is called client. The name itself, client, means they need a server. So the client have 3 types are there. That the network clients divided into 3 general subcategories. First is called thick, second is thin, and third is terminal. I'll tell you these are the very basic terminologies. It's a rudimentary level of terminologies. You should know this. What is this? What is called thick clients? Thick clients are nothing but they are fully functioning PC. Okay, they are fully functioning PC, and the devices have operating systems also inside of it, storage system also inside of it. So that means the system, it will do all the working fully functioning on its own. It is called what? Thick client. Okay, what is thin then? Thin clients are nothing but these are also fully functioning PC, but here this particular thin devices, they never possess hard drives for storage. They have operating system, but they doesn't have a hard disk drives. So that's called thin. And the terminal clients are nothing but they are the server dependent PCs. Okay, these server dependent PCs are nothing but the operating system also does not exist, even storage also does not exist. So the client actually boots up to a remote server and all the programs and data are executed on the server. It is just a terminal server, terminal clients. So these are the three important types of things: standalone, client, and terminal server. It's not server, it is called terminal client, which are actually rely on the servers. Okay, let me go to the next slide, slide number 8. So next you have to understand what is called this operating system file structure. I told you operating system. Especially, I want to talk about the disk operating system where your data sits. Okay, a disk operating system is a collection of programs. It is used to control overall computer operation in a disk-based system. Okay, so as illustrated, you can see in the figure, you can see boot files, kernel files, file management files, and utility files. There are 4 files are there. So the disk operating system can be organized according into 4 distinct sections. First, what is this boot files? Boot files take over control of the system hardware. So boot files is what? It control over the system hardware from the ROM BIOS during startup. When you start up the system hardware controlled by the boot files. Okay, so they bring the OS kernel files into the RAM memory. They bring the OS kernel. I'll tell you what is kernel in the next slide. Okay, so they bring the OS kernel files into the RAM memory so they can be used to control the operation of the system. So entire operation is controlled by these boot files. Okay, it is carrying the hardware things from the ROM BIOS. Okay, then next is kernel files. Kernel files are nothing but the fundamental logic files of the operating system. What is this fundamental logic? It's a very important one, no? Fundamental logic files of the operating system. It's responsible for the interpreting commands. Okay, obtained from software programs for the CPU. So whatever you are typing, because the machine cannot understand, because machine only understand the binary languages. Okay, so this kernel files only interpreting means what? Translating in an understandable way. So they interpreting commands obtained from software programs for the central processing unit, CPU. Okay, so these files are created to work with specific hardware architectures. Specific hardware architecture means microprocessors and chipsets. Then the third is called file management files. What is file management files? These files are enable the system to manage information within itself. Okay, so these files are responsible for storing, tracking, and retrieving the data into RAM memory, where the microprocessor can access it. So microprocessor can access the data from the file management file. So file management file, it store, track, retrieve the data in RAM, random access memory. And the last one is called utility files. Utility files are the programs that permit the user to manage system resources, troubleshoot the system, and configure the system. That's why it is called utility files. So these 4 are the pillars of operating system internal organization. If you understand these 4 types of files, then not only our data should be protected, this operating system should be protected. Dear audiences, I'm telling you one thing. Cybersecurity is a huge umbrella. Under that, we have lot of subdomains are there. So we call it as cybersecurity is also called as information security because it's huge. Okay, information security and cybersecurity, what's the main difference is when you include internet along with augmented reality and virtual reality, we call it as cybersecurity. Otherwise, it is information security. Most of the time, we call it as information security only. Under the information security, we are studying web security, database security, network security, operating system security, and so on. So there are a lot of subdomains are there. So you have to understand web security is nothing but securing the web application, server side and client side. And network security, you know that how to protect, how to secure a network. And database security is nothing but how to secure the data what you created, how you organize the data, how you achieve the data privacy and other things. Similarly, we have operating system security. It is the because that is the main interaction between the user and the computer. So without the operating system, the application software and the data cannot have any interaction. We cannot understand the data. So all the apps are working based on the OS. Okay, so that's why we call it as no, you have a problem and all software crash. Software crash happen means data loss. That's all. So this is the big domain we are discussing. So we are in the inner perimeter. Okay, inner perimeter, and the position of the OS in the system. Okay, where the I already told you OS is actually sitting in between the what? In between the programs and the processor. I told you. So that's why it is called as intermediary. So it sits in the middle, translating high-level application request into the actions the hardware can perform. And second, it is responsible for the resource management. It handles the complex task of finding and organizing the data on physical disk. So application don't have to do that. So all the managerial things done by the operating system only, scheduling, everything, priority, all the things. And similarly, it operating system, if you take it in a way, it is called a security gateway. Also, it can be what used, it can be performed because it sits in between the user and the hardware. It is a primary target for attackers. So seeking total system control. If an attacker want to seek total system control, his main target is nothing but the operating system, because operating system is the middle of the it's a center of attraction. So that's why the attacker always focus on the operating system. So next one is called kernel. I told you already, kernel is nothing but it is the actual shell. The figure you can see here, it illustrates the position of the operating system kernel, okay, between the system's hardware and applications. Applications are one side, system hardware another side. So due to this positioning, it should be apparent that if you can get to the programming code in the OS kernel and disable it, you have disabled the operation of the entire computer system. I'm not joking, I'm seriously telling you. So if you can get the programming code which is written in the OS kernel and you disable the program which is written inside the kernel, means you can disable the entire computer system. So kernel is such a core, that's a core of the operating system. However, if you can access the kernel and manipulate the code, you have taken over operation of the computer. I'll tell you one thing, my dear audience. The kernel files, no, whenever you are using some viruses or what virus are actually infecting your file, when the virus actually, there is a virus called boot sector virus. If the virus actually, it affects the boot level and it is getting into the kernel, once it infect the kernel, no, what happened? You cannot kill or disinfect the virus, because if you kill it, what happened? The system will go on. So because it is inside of the kernel. So once the kernel is infected, it is actually rejuvenation is impossible. So that's why the position of the kernel is very critical, and you have to understand this. I want to tell you this defensive technology. It's very new, very new. What is this defensive technology? I'm telling you, most operating systems utilize a feature which is built into microprocessing hardware, okay, to protect certain areas of memory that contain specific blocks of instruction code. Okay, that is called NX or XD. NX is nothing but no execution, no execution, and XD is nothing but disable, execute disable. So these are the bit. When this NX bit technology is used to flag certain areas of memory as storage only. Only those memories are for storage. It will not do any programmable. So what happened? Attackers cannot manipulate the program. If they change the program, entire system will be lost. So that's why they are introducing a bit called what? NX bit. There is no execution bit or particular memory.
Sir.
Guys, am I audible? I think the connection.
Yes, sir, audible. Yes, sir, audible, sir.
Yeah. Please kindly let me know if something, because I am disabled the better streaming quality. Yeah, sure. Let me share the screen. Yeah. So position of the kernel. Guys, where you lost me? The position of kernel, right? Here only. No?
Yes, sir. 11th slide, sir.
Yeah.
This one also. 10th slide, sir. Yes, sorry.
Yeah. So data execution prevention. No? So DEP. So
Yes,
DEP to defeat the strategy of an attacker from manipulating the code execution in the storage. So they are making us NX, XT-bit and DEP. So these kind of defensive technologies will prevent from the attackers cannot intrude into the kernel level files, so that whatever the files it is infected, we can actually disinfect by using the antivirus. But if it is affecting the kernel level, we cannot do anything. We need to throw the system away. That's all. We have to isolate or quarantine the infected system away. That's all. So next one, the file system security. Here you can see the diagram itself. You can understand. Here hackers use this form of HTTP exploitation to access a web server's directory tree. So this is the web server's directory tree. Okay. After the hacker has gained access, they can navigate the tree to view restricted files or execute commands on the server. So such attacks are launched using common web browsers attack against the poorly configured web servers. If the web server is poorly configured, the attackers actually, they gained access, they navigate the tree to view the restricted files. So this is called what? Directory traversal. And these attacks are referred as backtracking or directory climbing attacks or canonicalization attacks. So these are the various types of attacks are there. Okay, let me repeat it again. This is called what? Backtracking attacks or directory climbing. Since they are traversing to the directories, it's called directory climbing attacks or canonicalization attacks. So these attacks can be minimized through careful web server configuration. Okay, and filtering the web browser input and using vulnerability scanner software. Okay, there are softwares are there that should scan the vulnerability scanner software. Vulnerability is nothing but weakness. Okay, so that's the concept of file system security. So I'm just telling you the comparisons. You don't want to take much think about this. You can see Linux, Mac OS, how the resource access control are there. Okay, and how the resource access control are there, and what's the integrated firewall used? Encrypted file systems, yes. No execute. I told you what is NX and XD bit. So no execute. Hardware emulation, it is there. It is possible. So these are the operating system security. But there is one belief system is there in our society, like Linux is actually having lesser attack when compared to Windows. If you use Windows, attacker will easily hack the Windows. Linux and Unix are very, how to say, it's very secure. Some kind of belief systems are there. I'm telling you, the thing is that since many people are using Windows, the attacks also more in Windows. That's all. If Linux also used by many attackers, they are impartial. They will try to attack every operating system. So Windows, Linux, Mac OS, there is no differentiation. Definitely, we should be very careful. We should be very much protectable, and highly we are to be aware about how to protect our data. So that's very important. So operating system doesn't play a vital role in the hacking. So these kind of things you have to understand. And this data encryption also one of the important way how to protect the operating system files. These things I will tell you in the protecting the data, digital data. I'll tell you what is encryption in detail. Okay, how the symmetric, asymmetric in the detail. And when I'm talking about the what is it? Protecting the digital data, that is our interior. Okay, now we are in the inner perimeter, we are there. Next, we are going to discuss the outer perimeter. Okay, so this is the last one. What is hardware level disk encryption? Okay, and I want to tell you about this TPM. This is not, it is actually, it is too much for kind of teachers like us. It's industry perspective, I tell you. So many computer motherboard designs include a built-in microchip. Okay, all the computer motherboard, they have a built-in microchip. The built-in microchip called what is TPM. TPM is Trusted Platform Module. So this built-in microchip, it is used to store cryptographic information such as encryption keys. Information stored on the TPM is more secure from external software attacks and physical theft. If someone is physically stealing the information also, this motherboard have a microchip which is built in that have the that stores the cryptographic keys. Okay, I hope everyone should at least come across the word what is cryptography, what is encryption, what is called plain text, cipher text. Can I get a yes something? Cryptography, everybody know that? Have you ever heard of this word, or you want kind of a decent introduction on this topic? Cryptographic keys. Okay. Vamsi, are they
Everything perfect, sir. Audible and visible. Yes.
no, that's not one. I asked a question like that. Cryptographic keys, everybody know the basics, no? Basics of cryptography. What is that? Or they
Students
want me
don't
to
know, sir. The faculty may know.
Okay, okay, fine, okay, fine.
Students
I'll
are
just
students also there, sir. Research scholars also there.
fine, fine,
Yes,
fine.
sir.
I'll just
They are
assume.
responding, sir. Few comments in the chat box they are posting. Know about concepts. Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, okay, fine. So anyhow, I'll
Understanding
assume.
of cryptography and encryption. Yes, sir. One comment came, sir.
Superb.
Yes.
Okay. So this is the hardware level disk encryption also needed. I'm just telling you all this, the professors who were attending this, I'm just giving you the the real world problem of thing. Whatever that concepts I'm telling you, it is kind of a research ideas. If you people are pursuing your PhD or you want to pursue PhD in the domain of cybersecurity, take these concepts and just explore on it. There are a lot of open issues are available. So this session will be useful for you to finding your research problem. Okay, so these are the things are there. Next, I'm just telling you, protecting the outer perimeter. So the first layer we completed, operating system, the kernel, and what are the encryptions we have, what are the defensive strategies I told you. And here the next one is protecting the outer perimeter. Outer perimeter is what? The compound wall of your building. So similarly, the first line of defense is the outer perimeter. So whoever want to come to attack, first they need to cross this outer perimeter. And here we are going to discuss something called what is internet connectivity, firewalls, and after that, what is called DMC, and what is extranet, honeypots. So we are going to discuss lot of interesting things here actually. So we are in the slide number 18 now. So the dual functionality, okay, here you can see the network hardware is the integral component in the internet access and can usually serve a dual purpose in providing a certain amount of network security. Okay, because the network hardware is not only for connecting, it is for the dual purpose. It provides security also. That's a dual functionality of a network device. So whether access is controlled via something as simple as a modem or as complex as a router or a firewall, there is always at least generally two or more critical pieces of hardware between the user's computer and their ISP. So these are the strategic placement where you have to keep what kind of hardware devices. It's very important. It is critical to understand that these devices can be the single point of failure. Okay, single point of failure means if it got compromised, so the attackers can easily breach your entire system, will be compromised. So the portal to network tragedy when it comes to design, troubleshooting, and maintenance. So these are the devices that technical support personals will typically target initially while troubleshooting because they really are the most common trouble spots. So these are the very important thing. The outer perimeter means you have to remember here what is called firewall. So I'm going to discuss the firewall in the next slide. So now I want to tell you what is public network and private network. So public networks are nothing but the organizations which are actually allowing the resources for the public usage, and it is visible and it is accessible to all the public. Private is nothing but within the organization, only the internal members can use that. It is called what? Private. And the private networks, obviously, it is more secure than public because public is accessible to all. Okay. And also you should know what is called demilitarized zone. I'll tell you in the upcoming slide. Okay. So first I want to tell you here about firewall. So I want you people to listen this firewalls carefully. I want to tell you the history of firewall. Actually, the internet turned 57 years in 2026. In 1969, the first form of ARPANET, it became internet actually. But the use of devices to separate one network from another network, it is till 1980s, there is no such technology was developed. Even the internet came in 69, there is no such technology or devices which separate the one network from another network. There's no such devices are there till 1980s. At that 1980s time, network administrators used network routers to prevent traffic from one network to the neighboring network. So they enhanced the routers in 1990s with some filtering rules. In 1990s only, they started inventing the routers with some filtering rules. So firewalls are nothing but they are the special routers. The routers which filters not only routes the packet, it will filter the unwanted packet also. That's called a firewall. In 1990s only, the security firewalls came with the rules. Okay, so the next generation of security firewalls improved on these filter-enabled routers during the 1990s only. There are some companies like DEC, Checkpoint, Bell Labs. Those companies are actually developed new features of firewalls. Okay, so the firewall, the name itself tells you that it is a network device. It separates one trusted network from untrusted uh, network. Okay, by means of rule-based filtering. It is called what? The firewall. So the name firewall tells it's nothing but it is actually what? Separate trusted network with untrusted network. Okay, based on the rule-based filtering. It is called what? Firewall. There are three types of firewall is there actually. First is predominantly, first is called packet filtering firewalls. Packet filtering firewalls, you know that you can understand what's the meaning of the packet filtering. So this is the most elementary, that's the most basic level of firewall is packet filtering firewall. So because the packet filtering firewalls work at the IP level, that is internet protocol level of the network. Most routers integrate this type of firewall to perform basic filtering of packets based on the IP address. So what is the principle behind? I'm telling you, very simple. The principle behind packet filtering firewalls is that firewall, it bases the decision to allow a packet from one network into another network depends solely on the IP addresses. IP address of the source and IP address of the destination of the packets only. Based on that only, it allow the packets. For example, allow host. Allow host. For example, the source is 1.1.1.1. Let us consider. And the destination is 2.2.2.2 like that. So that means allow host 1.1.1.1 to host 2.2.2.2. If it tells means only that packets coming from that source going to that destination only allowed. Remaining all, it will give the command deny all. So allow and deny. These are the two protocols we used in the packet filtering. It's very simple. Okay, so the rest of the things it will filter. But what is the problem here? The problem is nothing but they do not take the state of connection. How the quality of the connection, it will only take care of the end point of the connection, where it is starting, where it is ending. That's why it is called what? Static filtering. So next one, we came to the next level called stateful firewalls. What is the stateful firewalls? Here, the stateful firewalls, it allows only properly established connections. Okay, properly established connections to traverse the firewall borders. And once the firewall allows a successful connection between the two hosts, it uses 3 TCP handshakes, three-way, okay, three-way TCP handshake, then only it allow. So the firewall records the occurrence of a valid session between two hosts. So if an attacker attempts to generate a invalid session, for example, when an attacker sending ACK prior to SYN, ACK is acknowledgement, SYN is synchronize. If an attacker sending acknowledgement prior to the synchronize, then the firewall identifies the packet is invalid state. So the stateful firewall, that means it's mindful of the state. So it is the invalid state. So it subsequently block the connection. This is called what? Stateful firewall. So first packet filtering only focus on the packets. Whoever has the source address and the destination address, it will allow. But it never mind about the state, actually, state of a connection. So second one, it will mind the both ports as well as state. That's why it's called stateful firewall. And the third one is called what? Application gateway firewalls. Application gateway firewalls are also called as proxies. Okay, you know what is proxy, right? Teachers know that what is a proxy. Proxy is nothing but it's a substitute or a surrogate. That's called a proxy. So why it is named as it so? Application gateway firewalls, also known as proxies, are the most recent addition to the firewall family. It's a most recently arrived one. So these firewalls work in a similar manner to the stateful firewalls, but instead of only understanding the state of a TCP connection, these firewalls understand the protocols associated with a particular application or set of applications. For example, a web proxy or an email filtering proxy. So it will not only consider the state, it also consider the protocols. So a web proxy understand the proper HTTP protocol will prevent improperly constructed request. Likewise, email filtering proxy will prevent certain emails from the spam emails. So it will consider the protocols also. So that's why I'm telling you, packet filtering or static filtering, stateful firewalls are connection awareness. It stores the connections between the thing, and application gateway are having it inspects the protocols. What is HTTP, SMTP, what kind of protocols it uses, like that it will have. So these are all the three types of firewall. You can see this, understand how the firewall is actually working here. This is a basic firewall network. Okay, the read filter rules. What are the filter rules? We have inbound rules are there, outbound rules are there. First it match inbound rule. If inbound connection is yes, it again check with the outbound connection. Okay, after that, if it is no, it will deny. If both are yes, it allow. If any one is no also, it will not allow, it will deny. Otherwise it allows. So this is a simple firewall. And this, how the application gateway works is nothing but along with the packet information, along with the state connection information, it also considers the protocols. Only HTTP should allow means only HTTP should allow. All the other protocols will not allow, it will be denied. So this is the application gateway filtering. So this, by the way, only actually these firewalls are actually working. I want to make a note what I'm going to tell you now, because many people understand like that. If you fix firewall, that means it will catch all the viruses. Please, it's not that. Please make a note. Like antivirus, firewalls will not stop all the evils of the internet. Okay, that is actually exaggerated. It was a false assumption. Firewalls provide a single layer of defense in the larger scheme of defense in depth. Okay, and while firewalls can reduce the attack surface of a server by blocking unnecessary ports from the internet, that's all. But firewalls cannot protect resources that are vulnerable to specific vulnerabilities. So inside the firewall, there are some resources are there. That resources are vulnerable. Those resources are cannot protected by firewall. Number one. Number two, firewalls cannot protect the buffer overflow attacks and privilege escalation attacks. All those attacks are nothing but it is internal attacks. So that firewall is actually a first line of defense. So he can definitely support you in single layer of defense, but he is not responsible for the vulnerabilities present in the resources or the buffer overflow or privilege escalation, both vertical escalation and horizontal escalation. Firewall cannot do anything. So these are it's a very important interview point of view question, students. Okay, so even though firewalls are there, we have to protect our inside the data. Okay, so next one, without we need to complete this second within the second content, that is protecting the outer perimeter. Next within 5 minutes, because we need to go to the digital data. That is the real thing we need to protect. So what is network appliances? Along with the firewall, you have antivirus, intrusion prevention, intrusion detection, all those things, what we call it as unified threat management. It is called what is UTM. When you are having everything streamlined together, so the security things will be amplified, so the attacks cannot be happened as individually. So you are including the strength of all the things, what we call it as network appliances. So we call it as smart appliances, integrated smart appliances. Okay, and proxy server, just now I told you. So what is this proxy servers? Proxy servers or nothing, but it is actually happening, act as a bidirectional barrier in the both the side. It is actually acting as a bidirectional barriers. And this barrier that prevents the outsiders from entering a local area network and prevents insiders from directly connecting to the outside resources. So it will be acting as a barricade between the local network and the outside resources. So that's why it is called what? Proxy server. So here you can see in the figure, it allows clients to make indirect network connections that are routed through it. So the client connects to the proxy server with or without any conscious authentication and makes a request for a resource from a different server. So that's why it is called proxy server. So it will handle the request by either returning the requested resource from its own copy or by forwarding the request to the other server. So here you can see it is actually the own copy or forwarding the request to the other server, 146.120.0.7. So this is the thing. Proxy server is actually copying that thing and is acting as a barricade between the inside user and the outside world. And next is demilitarized zones. It's very important concept. What is DMC actually? Demilitarizing zones. Actually, when you talk about some organizations, they want to extend their business directly to their customers for business to consumer. We call it as B2C. The business to consumer or business to customer operations, they normally involves hosting web pages that advertise the products and services to the general public over the internet. Okay, while that organization wants these customers to access their site, they do not want them to able to access the secured intranet zone. Instead of secured intranet zone, the outward facing web servers are given host the service cannot be linked directly. So you can see the outward facility, any user can use that. So that's called what? Demilitarized zone. So some organization dedicate a portion of their network to a security structure called DMC. It is a separate perimeter network, okay, that isolates the secure intranet from the outside world. So this is called secure intranet. They will never give any working space for the external user. Even though they want to give the B2C for the customers, they will give the outward the outward connections actually. So the outward connections they will give the web servers and the computers. They host the service. It cannot be linked directly to the actual intranet. So this zone is called demilitarized zone. So this is also one of the important thing to protect the outer perimeter. So you can make a demilitarized zone and you can give for the business organizations, you can do this. And even you can see here, if it is having only one firewall, it is called single firewall DMC. If you keep two firewalls, one is here for the demilitarized zone and another one is for the main server, it is called dual firewall DMC. Okay, so both are the varieties, the types of demilitarized zones. Next one is honeypots. The name itself tell you honeypot is nothing but it is a attacker's lure system. Lure is nothing but it's like a decoy. Have you heard about the plant called Nepenthes? Nepenthes is the carnivorous plant which is available in forests of Sri Lanka. I think in India it's in Assam. Okay, this Nepenthes plant it actually open a lid. The lid is very colorful and it is it's very good aromatic, very good smell. It attracts the insects and small birds, worms, something like that. It will come and actually sit on that. That time what happened? The lid will close, and that the pitcher, the Nepenthes had a pitcher kind of a flask kind of a flower. So inside of that, the small insects or birds fell inside. It will secrete the acid so that it will digest those things. It will consume. So it's a only carnivorous plant available. It's called Nepenthes. The honeypot is actually inspired from those plants. So it's a decoy system. Here, what honeypots does is it's also another perimeter network security structure. Here, the attackers are actually trapped by these honeypots, and the honeypot is a decoy server. Uh, Here, it attracts the attackers away from the real network. This is accomplished by providing the attackers with relatively easy access to decoy systems on the network and hiding truly critical systems. So typically the honeypot servers are designed like a poorly configured production server, but it is not. It is intentionally made. So making them appear to be easy, high value target. So the attackers will understand it's a high value target. It's a critical asset like that. So these servers are normally placed in DMC. So in the demilitarized zone only, they'll keep the honeypots. So what happened when the users are there with the illegal or with the bad intention, they want to exploit other resources, they will be attracted by the honeypot. Then they'll go inside, and in the honeypot, how they are moving, no, like that, the attackers will study the behavior of the attackers. So if you want to study the behaviors of the attackers, honeypot is one of the important security control measure. So please make a note of it. One of the very important research area. It is honeypots. Okay, it is for we are in the protecting the layer. What layer? We are protecting the outer perimeter. Okay, so that's why we are studying firewalls, proxies, DMZ, honeypot, and network appliances. The last one is extranet. You know what is internet? You know what is intranet? Internet is nothing but connecting one particular organization to another organization. We are using internet. So internetworking. Intranet also, you know, within the organization you want to connect the system. We call it as intranet. Then what is extranet? Extranet is nothing but while an intranet is designed to provide a secure network structure for authorized members within the organization. It's called intranet. So many businesses add one or more B2B connectivity. I told you B2C. In DMC, I think in DMC we discussed what is B2C. Extranets are nothing but B2B. B2B is nothing but business to business. That means what? With one organization to another organization. That time, the B2B channels to their networks that are used to conduct secure transactions with other trusted organizations. It is called what? Extranet. So the term extranet is used to describe an intranet structure that grants limited access to the authorized outside users, such as the business partners. In other words, it's a partially private and partially public network. That's called what? Extranet. It is partially public and partially private. So private means what? Only within the organization. Public means what? Other than the organization also. So extranets are providing partially public and partially private. So the server must authenticate requests from these users before they can give access to the server's contents. So a firewall is typically positioned between the web server and the intranet to block outside the user. So that's why you can see firewalls are inside. I told you, no, critically we need to position the firewall, where to fix the firewall. It's very important. So in extranet, we need the firewalls. So by this, we discussed how to protect the outer perimeter. So two sections are over. Okay, now the third section, that's a very, very important, called protecting the interior. What we call it as information security, data. How to provide data security. So I can tell you 3 lines. To protect the outer perimeter, I can tell it is called guarding the boundary. Guarding the boundary. Protecting the inner perimeter, I can call it as securing the structure. Securing the structure. But protecting the interior, I can call it as protecting the vault. That is the main treasure. The vault is that only. In the bank, you know where is vault is. So the data is the vault. So all the attackers are interested on the data, not on the hardware, not on the software. My dear audience, you use the mobile phone. It is maybe Samsung M13, M14 something. That the price of the mobile is 20,000. Okay, if someone is stealing the mobile, you can go and buy the same mobile by giving the cost. And if the Android OS is crashed, you can go and have the software you can install, because the software and hardware are commercially off the shelf in nature, called COTS, COTS. That means it is in the shelf. Any showroom you can go, Samsung showroom, you can get the same model mobile. But what makes the mobile more insensitive or sensitive or sensible? It's nothing but what data it is inside. A music director's device has tunes. A research scholar uh, device, it has his research works. And a medical practitioner device, it has all the medical data. Similarly, the device is nothing but it is having the valuable data. So data is the essence. For protecting the data only, we are protecting this hardware, software, everything. So if it is important to protect the outer layer and inner layer, that's very important to protect the interior, because this is the actual seed of the fruit. Okay, so the data can be protected in 3 states. Okay, very important research point it is. Okay, so you can take, if you want to work in information security, you can take in this 3 anything: data at rest, data in transit, and data in utility. These are the 3 important data position. The state of data are there. And when the data is rest, that means it is in the hard disk drive, or it is in the backup tapes, or in the SSD. That time, there is no need of giving security. When security comes into the picture, when your system is connected in the network, then your system is in trouble. System is in danger, because the network connectivity gives the problem. So data at rest, it does not need that kind of protection. If the data is isolated, that is more than enough from the virus and other things. Data in utility, when you are using the data, that time you will be more conscious about the data. Since you are using it, any kind of alteration in the data, you can easily smell it. But what is the real importance you have to give is data in transit. When data is in motion, data is moving across the network, that time you have to provide security. So I'm going to focus my presentation in the data which is in movement. So that means how you are going to provide these things. It's called what? First one, I want to talk about the access control. My dear audiences, something I want to tell you called OWASP, OWASP. Okay, you just make a note and you can browse it later. So every 3 to 4 years once, OWASP will publish top 10 vulnerabilities all over the world. So as per last 2 publications of OWASP, the first vulnerability A01 to A10, A01, A02, A03, like that. A01 is nothing but broken access control. So that's the top most vulnerability which is published by OWASP. Okay, it's a how to say, it's a forum which actually helps the computer users to know about the vulnerability, so that they can give the awareness to others. Okay, so the access control is the first one. That's called what? That's the first vulnerability, broken access control. I'll tell you these 3 words: ingress, egress, and regress. Ingress is nothing but, actually, if you talk about, that's a legal right of an individual to enter a property. It's called ingress. Egress is nothing but it's a legal right of an individual to leave the property. And regress is nothing but claiming to re-enter the property after they leave also. These 3 are actually controlled by something called what is authorization. What you see here, it is called authorization. And this is called what? When you get authentication. So this is called access control mechanism. What is authentication? First of all, it is a process of determining that someone is who they say they are. So identifying who the user is, it is called authentication. And what are the factors which are involved in authentication? That's very important, my dears. First is something you know. Second is something you have. And third one is something you are. And fourth one is something somewhere. That's called the location. So knowledge, possession, inheritance, and location. These 4 are the multiple factors which involved in authentication. What is authentication? Identifying who the user is. It's called authentication. What is authorization? Allowing who can do what he can perform, up to what level he can perform. What does he perform? It is called authorization. So for authorization, you have four things: something you know, something you have, something you are, and somewhere you are. Something you are somewhere. So these are the four things. From that you can do the authentication. If you use any one authentication, it is called what? Single factor authentication. It is called what? Single factor authentication. But when you are using more than one, it is called what? Multi-factor authentication. Okay, so single factor authentication may be fine, or if I are restricting access to the resources, but can make it more challenging, single factor authentication, it's not sufficient. So that only we are going for multi-factor authentication. Normally we are using 2FAs, but in countries like USA, they started 3FAs also there, three-factor authentication also there. So multi-factor. Two-factor authentication involves asking for authentication using a different methods. Like one factor is something physical, like RFID key, USB key dongle, a card, a security card, something like that. Another factor is like that, a fingerprint or the iris, or your voice, spoken phrase, analyzing the user's voice, or the different factors like something you know, that is a password or a pin, something you have, that is your physical card, a token card or something, and something you are, that is your fingerprints or iris pattern. So with this combination of anything, if you get authenticated, it is called what? Multi-factor authentication. Okay, so whenever you are log in your mail in different laptop, that time what happen? It will give an alert message and it will give a OTP in your mobile phone. So both the mobile phone and the laptop is synchronous. Then you are allowed to go inside of a login into your mail. This is also a concept of multi-factor authentication only. So like that only Microsoft does this. Then we come to the IP and MAC authentication. Access control lists, ACL, I told you, ACL. These access control lists are commonly used by servers and routers to grant certain amount of access. In the access control list only, it have all the users, uh, uh, whether he is a authorized user or not. So who will maintain that? ACL will maintain. So server and router, you will use this ACL to grant some kind of access. When all that's required is to ensure access to a system is granted only to the users from a particular network. So it is called what? IP address authentication or MAC address authentication. That's very effective. What is IP address spoofing? Then only you understand what is IP address spoofing. Where IP packets are created with a header containing a forged or forgery source IP address. It is called what? IP address spoofing. Okay, header is there, but the source IP address is forged. Someone's IP address you are using, that's called IP address spoofing. So generally, this is done to conceal or to reveal the source of a DOS attack. But this also defeating the IP address authentication. So that's why IP authentication is needed. Otherwise, IP spoofing will happen. Okay, IP spoofing won't work in all authentication schemes, as often something must be sent back to the user and that information is sent to the spoofed IP and not the actual source of the connection. Only in that case where the spoofer is on the same broadcast network can the spoofer eavesdrop or the reply. So that is very important. When spoofer is using a source, he forged a source IP, he sent a message to a recipient. The recipient will send the reply message to the spoofer. So the spoofer will overhear what is happening there. It's called what? Spoofing. So IP authentication should be used only in combination with other authentication methods, or to allow a connection to merely have the opportunity to communicate with a protocol. So this is generally best used in LAN environment where spoofing should be less for a concern. So IP should be used with IP authentication should be used with other authentication. Otherwise, it will be vulnerable. Okay, so MAC address can also be spoofed. While this address is actually embedded in the hardware device network controller. So a computer can mask this address to impersonate a different device. Okay, so this, by the way, the IP spoofing, the far more effective actually. So MAC spoofing is far more effective than the IP spoofing because it happens before the IP connection is established. In the hardware itself, spoofing is happen. So these are the things you should know. For that, you have to understand what is called what? Authentication protocols to avoid this one. We call it as CHAP, Challenge Handshake Authentication Protocol. So whenever a handshake is happening, that time you will understand the user is really the user or he is a spoofer. To give that only authentication, we have one mechanism called what is Kerberos authentication mechanism. What is this Kerberos authentication? Kerberos is a name, came from the Greek mythology. Mythologically speaking, there is a three-headed dog which is guarding the gates of the heaven and hell in the Greek mythology. So the dog has three faces. It will see from all the three directions. No souls will escape from hell to the heaven. So that's the concept. The name of the dog is called Kerberos. So why they keep the dog's name to the authentication system? Because the Kerberos also have three heads. One is authentication, availability, and authorization. And also it has three kind of servers. One is called authentication server, client. Also, it has one more thing called what is ticket granting server. The ticket granting server is the special point of Kerberos. All the other authentication mechanism, it only have one server, that is authentication server. But Kerberos have two servers. One is for authentication and another one is for ticket granting server. So that's why it is actually Kerberos is one of the authentication system and it is the control measure for the data. If you want to cannot allow the attackers inside of the system, you should authenticate them properly. So Kerberos is one of the important thing to follow. Okay, and Kerberos follows the symmetric encryption. Okay, next I'm going to discuss about the encryption technique only. Okay, what is encryption? Encryption is nothing but it's a process of converting readable text into non-readable text. That means plain text to cipher text. It is called encryption. And decryption is vice versa. When you restore the cipher text from the plain text, it's called what is decryption. Whenever you are achieving confidentiality of the data, you cannot send the data in the readable format to the network, because in the network, anytime an attacker can take your or view your data. If the data is in plain text format, anyone can be easily understand what is the essence of the message. So we should encrypt the data. It is called what? Encrypting is nothing but converting data from one form, that is the readable form, to non-readable form. The study of performing encryption, what we call it as cryptography. Okay. Cryptography, it's a word which originates from the Greek terminology. Cryptos means secret. Graphene means writing. So it is called what? Study of secret writing. It's called cryptography. And this cryptography, it is not a new technique. It is actually, it's very, way old. It is like 900 BC itself. Before that itself, in Egypt pyramid itself, they started using hieroglyphics. That is, they convey the message only understandable to the pharaohs, the family of pharaohs. So there it started the secret writing. In every country, we have a secret message writing things. Spartans used skitali. There is a wooden baton stick on which they wrap ox wool. Okay, and they wrote on that, and after that they will unwrap that and they'll give the rolled wool to the messenger. The messenger will go to the recipient, and the recipient also have the pair of the wooden baton stick, and he will again wrap the the wool on the skin of the ox on the baton stick, so that he can read the message. So by the way, there are a lot of secret message transfers are there happened. For the interest of time, I want to tell you very simple things. And if you want to have any detailed discussion on that, you can get my mail ID, my contact number through the organizers, and you can touch with me at any point of time. For the interest of time, I want to tell you the surface level of this cryptography. Cryptography is to achieve data confidentiality. If you want to protect the data what you are using, you should definitely use the cryptographic methods. The classical cryptography is divided into two things. One is called substitution method, another one is transposition. Substitution is nothing but the plain text letters can be substituted or replaced with other letter or other symbols. The positions will not change. For example, apple is the word means apple can be substituted with another letter. The position will not change. But in transposition, apple, it will not be replaced by the other letters, but it will rearranged. Instead of APPLE, it will become PAP PAPEL, something like that. It will change. That's called transposition. And modern cryptography, based on the functionality of the cipher, we can make it as block cipher and stream cipher. So when you encrypt the plain text block by block, it is called block cipher. When you encrypt the plain text bit by bit or byte by byte, it is called stream cipher. Okay, and based on the key, if you use same key for performing encryption and decryption, it is called symmetric key cryptography. If you are performing two different keys, one key is for encryption and another key is for decryption, it is called asymmetric key or public key cryptography. So these are the overview of that. I'll show one example for substitution technique. Substitution technique is nothing but here you can see the plain text is hello. And you know that English alphabets, all the 26 letters are there, and it is enumerated with 0, 1, 2, 3 till 25 like that. And how the substitution techniques are working is nothing but they will use a plain text letter. So it is actually moved to B, C, and D because here the key is 3. So A is encrypted as D, B is encrypted as E, C is encrypted as F, like as so on. And here you can see the plain text letter hello. You can see E is encrypted to H, H is encrypted to K. So hello will be encrypted as KHOOR. So how will you decrypt it? By reversing this 3, you will get again K to H, H to E, O to L, and R to O. So by the way, the substitution techniques are working. So this is mono substitution, mono alphabetic substitution. Same way, if you can perform substitution using 2 letters at a time, we call it as digram. If you take 3 letters at a time, it is called trigram. If you take more than multiple alphabets, it is called polyalphabetic substitution. So the best example for monoalphabetic is Caesar cipher. What we are seeing is Caesar cipher. And for the diagrams, the best example is Playfair cipher. And for trigrams and other things, the best example is Hill cipher. You can use for both diagram and trigram. And for polyalphabetic substitution, you can use the Vigenère cipher, Vernam cipher. Those things are there. Please, what are the words I'm telling you? You can please make a note and you can explore. All the things are available in internet. Okay. And the vulnerability of the substitution techniques is nothing but the frequency, the standard frequency letter. You can see E has the most high frequency. So that is in the cipher text, any letter which is coming in the higher frequency, it can be compared with E and they can reveal the thing. So always the cryptanalytic attacks will happen in cryptography. With the key, if you encrypt, but you don't have the key, but you have the cipher text. But how will you, if you try to break the cipher text without the key, it is called what? Cryptanalytic attacks. Okay, so cryptanalytic attacks, they will use this exhaustive way of breaking the cipher text into plain text. During the World War time, this kind of messages are happened. So substitution techniques, I told you. What are techniques I told you? Caesar cipher, Playfair cipher, Hill cipher, Vigenère cipher. In the Vigenère cipher, we have another version called what is Vernam cipher. Okay, Vernam cipher is nothing but the key is one time only. If you use the key, it is called what? One-time pad. The one-time pad is the most effective substitution technique which achieves perfect secrecy. Then you come to the transposition cipher. Transposition, here I already told you, here we will not replace the plain text letter with other letter, but will rearrange the letter. So this technique is called rail fence technique. The key is 4. That means you have to draw the 4 boxes. THIS, this is a secret message like that. And you can write the row wise, first row, second row, third row, fourth row, like that you can make. This is called transposition or permutation or shuffling the arrangement of the plain text letters. So this is also the classical cryptography technique only. For performing this transposition, we have a lot of hardware devices. Those time they use Enigma machine, rotors. During the again, it's a World War time. You can see this the German Enigma coding machine. So to shuffling the content, and this also you can see this. This is the kind of a device which is rotating so that to shuffle the numbers to bring the random number selections. They are using this cage, and Enigma rotors. They are actually thrice it gives the random numbers generating. By the way, the classical cryptographies are done, but with the classical cryptography, nothing we achieved. Only we achieved is confusion and diffusion. Okay, it's an interview point of view question. Symmetric cryptography, it achieves this concept called confusion and diffusion. That means only substitution and permutation, we can achieve confusion and diffusion, but security can be achieved by asymmetric cryptography because it has mathematical background of it. Okay, let me show what is symmetric and asymmetric. I told you when a sender sending the plain text, if he uses the same key for encryption and it travels the internet and it goes to the decryption side, and a decryption also he uses the same key, it is called symmetric. Symmetric means same. Asymmetric is nothing but he uses one key for encryption and another key for decryption. Normally, if he uses the public key for encryption and the private key for decryption. Okay, so the receiver's public key, if he encrypt, that means only receiver can open it because there's a pair, key pair. The public key and private key are the pairs. Okay, public key known to all, private key known to only the owner. So the receiver's private key only known to the receiver. So when the sender send the data which is encrypted with the receiver's public key, only the receiver can open it. No one can open other than the receiver because private key only known for the receiver. So this is called what? Public key cryptography or asymmetric cryptography. So why we are studying this cryptography? Because of cryptography we can perform encryption. When we perform encryption, definitely we can achieve confidentiality so that you can protect the secrecy of the data. Okay, so similarly, digital certificates, I can tell in a simple word. Instead of receiver's public key, if a sender encrypting with sender's private key, then what happened? That message was actually sent by digitally signed by the sender because the private key of the sender known only to the sender. So if he encrypt with the sender's private key, anyone can open with sender's public key because public key known to everyone. But here the intention is not the confidentiality. Here the intention is integrity. So when the sender can sign by encrypting using the private key of him, he is telling to the world, this message was generated by me. So by the way, we are achieving this digital certificate. Okay, it's like a will only. You can see, when we are writing the will document can be read by anyone, but it cannot altered by anyone. So that's why we are using our thumb impression or the signature. It's the digital means not thumb impression. It's a digital signature. That's all. Okay, so there are two more topics are there: secure socket layer and CAPTCHA, VPNs are there. For the time of interest, because we have last few minutes, I want to interact with you with the questions. So these things I want you to just the slides I'll share with the organizers. You can go through it, self-understanding. Okay, see SSL TLS, CAPTCHA, and this is the last slide, VPN. So you just go through these concepts. Okay. On your own. And if you have any questions, now I'm open for you all for the question. I hope you people really enjoy the session and you learned something from that. I just tried my level best to give my best. So to make this session into 3 different parts, like how to protect outer perimeter, inner perimeter, and how to protect the digital data. So if you want to share or ask any kind of question, I'm happy to answer you. Okay, so the last 5 minutes for the Q&A. I can feel whether I reached you or not by the way the question you are going to ask me. I'm really happy to hear from you. Dear Malleshwari, you asked what is DES. Okay, so DES is nothing but data encryption standard. DES is actually coming under symmetric cryptographic algorithm. It is a block cipher. It's a modern cryptography. It's a block cipher. DES is a data encryption standard. We are using DES to encrypt a block of 64-bit at a time. But the DES is actually saturated. It is not. Now we are using AES, Advanced Encryption Standard. Okay, DES is actually invented in 1977. That is 50 years before it was invented. 1990s it was as IDEA came. After that, Blowfish algorithm came. From 2001 onwards, we are using Advanced Encryption Standard AES. Any other question? You can unmute and you can talk if you want.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, please raise your hand or you can post your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, that also fine. Anything is fine. How was the session, students? Is it interesting? Is it useful? Is it informative? And this is a very huge topic, so we cannot give this is kind of a 2 to 3 days we need to conduct this, then only we can give justice to this content, cybersecurity. But in 90 minutes I can give you the thank you Padma Priya, thank you Malleshwari, thank you Preeti. You can ask any questions also if you have any doubts, any research side questions also. I'm happy to answer actually. Thank you all, thank you for your wonderful feedback.
Sir, can we increase the key value, sir, in the transportation?
Yeah, possible.
Yes.
Yeah, based on the application we can do that.
Okay, sir. Okay. So there is one question from Sharanya madam, sir.
Yes.
How does ingress, egress, and regress help in cyber security?
Okay, that is not actually, that is ingress, egress, and regress. They are actually deciding factor in the authorization. When you want to authorize someone, the access control we are going to use. So ingress is nothing but it is a legal right of an individual to getting inside of a property. That can be applicable for the real world also, not only cyber security. So ingress is nothing but that's a legal right of an individual to getting into a property. So that's called ingress. So who will do this ingress, egress, and regress? Nothing but the authorization. So we should know how to authorize. How will you authorize? Something you know, something you have, and something you are. That means something you know means your password. Something you have is nothing but your iris pattern, your thumb impression, the card, the token, like that. So through that only you can claim yourself as that's the claiming things are called the words ingress, egress, and regress. That's all. That's an authentication and authorization mechanism, Sharanya ma'am. How AI will emerge in cybersecurity field? It's a wonderful question, Venkateshwara Kiran. AI will emerge in cybersecurity field because I'm telling you now that is the very currently AI is in everywhere. So in cybersecurity, to understand the attack, okay, you should know how to train a system. AI is nothing but artificial intelligence is nothing but making a machine to think like a human without being explicitly programmed. It's called AI. So cybersecurity, what will you do? You will understand what is called attacks, what is called threat, everything. So instead of humanly do that, you can train a model. That model can understand it's an attack or what. So that what happen, it will actually accuracy will be more. So AI, we are giving machine learning and deep learning algorithms to model the data. Especially we are working in generative AI and LLMs. Now they are involving in finding the attacks. So AI is actually emerging in cybersecurity field. That is a buzzword now. So if you are doing research in cybersecurity, you have to inculcate artificial intelligence, especially ML and DL concepts in cybersecurity field. How Lavanya, my scholar, yeah. Sir, thank you so much for a very informative session. How are these conventional security mechanisms helping the evolving Gen AI and autonomous agents? Yes, Lavanya, conventional security mechanisms are way old. I told you that is they are 5 decades before they are. But the concepts what we are using, it's still the fundamentals we learn from the conventional security mechanism. From substitution, what you understand is nothing but you can confuse the attacker with the um, with the transposition technique. What you achieve, what you understand is you can diffuse. That means you can make the ciphertext without any resemblance of, not even a single 1% what resemblance of plain text. You have to make completely out of, you have to cook the ciphertext without any smell of the plain text. It is called what? Diffusion. So these two things are the very important thing to make your system more effective from the eyes of the attacker. So conventional security mechanism taught us what is the concept of confusion, what is the concept of diffusion. It was told by Claude Shannon. Okay, so you can refer that, Lavanya. I'm happy to see your message. Any other questions?
Yes, a few questions are there in the chat box. So Sangeeta
Yes.
madam wants to speak, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sangeeta ma'am.
सर एक्चुअली मुझे बस यही पूछना था कि जो ये फीडबैक फॉर्म का बड़ा इशू हो रहा है ना कि यहाँ पे ही चैट में शेयर होगा और वहां पे शेयर नहीं
मैडम
होगा, तो सर वही
अभी तो क्वेश्चन आंसर चल रहे हैं मैडम, प्लीज वेट फॉर सम टाइम.
अरे सर क्वेश्चन आंसर चल रहा है, दैट आई नो, बट दिस इज माय जस्ट
आई विल
रिक्वेस्ट
शेयर
टू यू
मैडम, प्लीज वेट फॉर सम
कि
टाइम.
मतलब देयर इज अ वेरी chaos on the group कि we will not share the feedback form on the WhatsApp group. We will
Please check the group now, ma'am. I informed in the
sir.
group.
So therefore I am asking.
Sir, another question from Malleshwari madam, sir. Can we use quantum computing with cyber security?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes. Actually, the quantum computing is in actually the infancy level. And if you are using quantum cryptography, okay, so quantum in cybersecurity, quantum cryptography is a separate field, it's coming. So the difference between the normal computing and the quantum computing is we are involving qubits into that. And this quantum computing is going to do a miracle, and it's an infancy level. I encourage Malleshwari ma'am to explore more things on the quantum. It is challenging, but at the same time, it is highly needed research topic when we are involved, we are computing normal computing to the quantum computing. So when you are doing quantum cryptography, I'm telling you, attackers will not that much able to hack your system when you are performing quantum quantum spaces, cyberspace. When you are involving, attackers will definitely feel. And one more thing you have to understand, attackers also more smarter than the developers. So it is always like a fight between a good and bad. When a programmer is developing a code, at the same time, a virus writer will writing a virus. So it is like someone is gifting you a watch, someone will steal the wall clock from your home. Then only the earth will rotate like that only. So when we are going to quantum, the attackers also going into the quantum. So both the people are actually having. So Malleshwari ma'am, it's a very good question. Quantum cryptography is actually, you have to study that, you have to implement it, and it is very effective. And it's in fact, the research level is in infancy. It's still, it has to, a lot of open issues are there. You have to explore on it. Yes, it's possible.
One more question, sir, from Arjun Thomas, sir. Any specific areas in computer science linked with ML?
No, this question is so generic, I feel. So what specific area, can I get some more information on the question? What sir is asking?
This is the question they posted, sir. Any specific areas in cyber security links with machine learning?
Yeah, there are a lot of areas are there. So I told you like that detection. No, I told you detection. For example, you take an example of intrusion detection system, IDS. So we are actually rule based. Some rules are there in which we are comparing the rules, and from that we are identifying whether it's an intrusion or there or not. So that you can train the model using what? Machine learning. So the machine learning will actually, machine learning or deep learning, you can train the model so that the model will actually identify what kind of attack it is. So those kind of things you can do as a, now you can train the model. That's a machine learning. That's why I told you, machine learning is nothing but making a machine to think like a human without being explicitly programmed. When it is mimic the central nervous system of a human, it is called deep learning. So both are actually, they have a lot of scopes. Whatever the cybersecurity problems are there, all the problems can be achieved by inculcate machine learning and deep learning. So It is highly possible. If you want specific topic, you can go with IDS. You can do with machine. You can train the IDS with AI based or machine learning based intrusion detection system.
Yes, sir. Like he added another, he added the comment, sir. He extended a comment like malware threat or cloud security, etc. Like that, Arjun Thomas, sir, added the next comments.
Yeah, actually, when you are talking about the malware threats, actually, we have lot of open areas are there. Malwares in the means more than 55 to 60% of all the malwares are still viruses only. We have dozens of malwares, virus, worm, Trojan horse, then spyware, adware. There are a lot of rootkits, keyloggers. There are a lot of malwares out there in which viruses are having more space actually. So still we are having lot of antivirus generators are there. So malware threat is really, there is a lot of scope for doing the research in malware threats, especially threats which is like you go through the case study of Stuxnet, Stuxnet, Stuxnet. The Stuxnet, if you study that, no, you will understand what is the power of malware. Now you know what is the current war is going on in Iran. You know about everything. What are the calamities? The calamities are very severe all over. It's reflecting all over the world, not only in the Middle East. But I'm telling you, Israel actually launched an attack against this nuclear power reactor of Iran. Okay, with the help of USA, it is like a APT, Advanced Persistent Threat. They launched one Trojan called Stuxnet. And this nuclear power reactor is actually air gapped. It is 30 feet under the ground. That is that much isolated. But still they hacked that power reactor. They made power turbines to burst. It may cost the $1 million of thing. You know what they did? They used the malware called Trojan, a small program which is they hacked in the PLC board of Siemens. So during the supply chain management, they keep that Trojan. It's like a normal exe file. It's like a word file like that something, and they are actually inbuilt in the system. So whenever they are running, it behaves very normal. But after some time, what happened? It actually opened the way for other worms. It will make the turbine very fast, and the turbine will burst. Once the attack is launched, next 39 days it will go idle. So when people will come and see, they cannot identify what happened also. So this is the malware. If you study about the malware, it's very interesting area, I'm telling you. And you don't want to launch a war against a country. Okay, if you know how to use the malware, I'm telling you, not only for turbines, it is for the dam, it is for the hydro power electric, whatever it is rotating from the merry-go-round to from the cotton candy machine, everything is rotating. So if you hack that rotors, you can do whatever you want. So you can demolish a dam, you can hack the hydropower, everything. So the thing is that malware is one of the important domain you should understand, and if you inculcate the malware with this AI concept, I think the research is so good and it's so interesting also.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Kumar, sir, want to interact with you, sir. Kumar, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, good evening, sir. Myself, Prashant, adjudicated triple IT, Srikakulam. Sir, you said about that packet, sir, packet tracers are there, right? So is there any packet filterings are there and packet scanners are there? Because see, vulnerabilities are coming from packets only, right? So before coming to the packet itself.
Sir, actually, there are a lot of tools are there. I want to tell you one thing that is called what Nmap. If you take Nmap, no sir, so it will actually scan all the packets for the unit of time, and it will give with, if you read the network packet, the traces, you can understand from where it is originated, from where it is going, and what kind of packet it's carrying. And the Nmap itself, the network map itself, it tells you by the color you can understand. If it is more red in that, it is actually a packet from a attacker. And it's a packet from the unauthorized users. So there are a lot of tools are available. I'm telling you. Only thing is that Sorry.
Yeah, this is the way we can avoid that
Yes.
hacking of our our
Yes.
system. Na? So
Yes.
why can't people are most concentrate on this before entering into the packet, before entering into the network itself? If you filter out there itself means so definitely will be a good way to secure our network, right?
Got it. Got it. Very good. Very good question. Very good question. So what you are saying is that you are talking about the line of defense you are talking. So there are three types of attackers are there. You are talking about the first level of attacker. They are the very easiest to detect. They are called masquerader. For example, in the college gate, you see people who without ID card, they are not having uniform. They call it as outsiders. If they try to come inside of the gate, security guards will stop them there only. So you're talking that only. So when unwanted packets, you can filter there only. But what about the people who are insider? They are doing some mischievous thing. So there are three type of intrusions are there. One is masquerading, second one is misfishing, and third one is clandestine users. So masqueraders are nothing but the external people. They are very easy to catch hold. But the misfishers are nothing but the internal users. People who are there inside, they will exploit the resource, and they are very dangerous to detect. And they will always apply some privilege escalation attacks. For example, students want to hack the system of controller of examination. Students are actually the authorized people only, but their authorization level, it's not. So those things firewall cannot do. That's why I told you in the when I'm discussing about the firewall, I told you one thing. Firewall
Yes, yes.
cannot responsible for the resources which are having vulnerabilities inside. If the
Yes,
resources are
it's
having
only scanning
vulnerabilities
the
inside, yes,
ports only it's going to filter. Yeah,
yes,
understood.
exactly. So only for ports it will do. But what about the Byzantine attacking? It will not do anything. And the escalation buffer overflow attack, that will not do anything. So a resource which has the vulnerability, that does not do anything. So network layer is
So,
nothing but it's a single layer of defense, but in the depth in defense, it's a single layer of protection. First level of defense. That's all.
okay. Okay.
Any other questions?
And yes, sir. Actually, some people are using right now other free versions, like
Yes,
a cracked versions, right? So the
yes,
cracked version also it's a one kind of virus. It should be entered into our system. After you
exactly.
said that like a Trojan, like that virus is also going to be exploited, right? Like that. Is it
Exactly.
possible?
Exactly. I'm telling you, like cybersecurity is not only technical thing. Cybersecurity is spreading awareness. Okay, spreading awareness is the first thing. So I'm telling you, the most dangerous attack, it's not virus. The most dangerous attack is social engineering attack. When you are standing in front of the ATM machine, you should be very careful, like who is having height than you, more height than you. They can surf your password through your shoulder. That attack is called shoulder surfing attack. To perform that attack, there is no need of studying anything, certification program. And when you are actually keeping the keylogger on the ATM machine, when you are pressing, all the keys are stored in some devices. That device can be copied in other system. It is called what? Milking the skimmer attack. And when you go to the bus station, railway station, that time you don't have the charger. That time you keep the charging point. Okay. So that time you are inserting the C-type cable inside of your mobile. That time it is called what? Uh, uh, juicing attack. It is called what? Juicing attack. So they will extract, because that cable can be used as the data cable, power cable also. So they will inject all the things. That's called a juice jacking attack. Like there are a lot of attacks are there. There is no need of security things are there. With some small devices, you can do. So as you asked the question, I'm telling you, like first thing is that we should have an awareness. So whatever you are doing, you have to change your password like the toothbrush. 15 days once you have to change the password. And you should not keep the same password for all the things. And one more thing is that you have to use the password in your mother tongue. For example, in Telugu, if you keep the password like that, baga unnara, bhojanam chesara, something, just for an example. So the attacker will check the dictionary attack. They have a dictionary, they have a rainbow table in which they will check all the salt, password, everything. So the password they will run in randomly. So 1.5 million passwords it will run, in which any one password will match with your password. then you will get the access. But if you use your mother tongue, no, what happened? The dictionary table doesn't have the regional language. So we are having that advantage. You have to think very smart. So those kind of things we can definitely we can definitely prevent ourselves from others. So
Yes.
yeah,
Good,
cyber
sir.
security is
Very good,
nothing
sir.
but tell me.
Give suggestion to, because all of the viewers are there, out of 80 people are there. So the entire session is very good. I am happy. And give me the suggestion to all the people right now. People are using different kind of web browsers, right? So in the web browser itself, so many attacks will be going to happen. So can you suggest me that which is the best web browser, or how we can secure our data transactions or anything? So which is the best platform?
Yeah.
So many browsers are there.
Yes.
So because by using of that spoofing also, from the browser itself also, we are going to do so many spoofing and password hijacking. These all kind of going to happening now. So can you suggest me that which is the best browser going to use for the security purpose or anything else? Can you
Okay.
please suggest?
Just you asked a question. It's I think I can consider this question for everyone. So first you have to understand, like there is nothing called secure browser, insecure browser, like that and all. We have something called what is SSL, secure socket layer, in transport layer security, SSL TLS we say. So when we are using the protocol called HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, whenever you are typing something in the URL, that time that URL will be not, before that it was actually traveled as the plain text. www.indianbank.com, something, if I'm typing something, the indianbank.com, it is moved in the, using my operating system, it moves as a plain text. Till that HTTPS came. HTTPS is nothing but secure socket layer. So what is the difference between HTTP and HTTPS is nothing but there are 31 encryption algorithm are running simultaneously when you are typing. So whenever you are typing, that time it is converting it into an encryption form. So the encrypted text is moving. That's it. So first one, whenever you're using browser, there is no called secure or insecure browser. Just check whether the protocol is HTTPS or HTTP. If it is HTTPS, then you can go, because HTTPS is secured and the digitally verified things are there in HTTPS. So you can use HTTPS. And one more thing, if you want to check whether the browser is correct or not, you can paste that URL, paste the file, whatever the file you are using, some file you are receiving, some URL you are receiving, whether you want to check whether it's a virus one or not. There is some website called what is virustotal.com. You just go there, virustotal.com. It's free only. You can actually paste that thing and you will understand what is the, because there are around by 2026 January, somewhere I have checked, it is around 60 plus antivirus organizations are actually,
Antiviruses are there.
yes,
In that
associations.
Avast was good, and yeah,
Yes.
in that Avast was very good, and Virus Total 360 Total also very good. I know,
That's
sir.
also very good. So you can
Yeah,
you
sir.
can use, you can check that so that you can understand whether it is compromised one or not. So what I'm telling you is follow the protocol, and whenever you are checking, you have to check the entire word, because Indian Bank itself, it's, I can say IND1 or L or I, all the three are look same. So you have to understand that there is an attack called silent banker attack. Okay, it happened in USA for the Barclays Bank. It happened. Silent banker attack is nothing. It's a Trojan. It's in the URL itself. It will hack. So once you type that, that's the different account. From the account, actually, what happened? It will take your amount. When you are depositing, it will deposit in the attackers, and it will send the message to you. So you will not understand till you go in physical, you go and check the account, then only will understand. So those kind of attacks are happened. So that's why I'm telling you, HTTPS, go for that. And whenever you need to check, don't click anything. There's an attack called clickjacking attack. Whenever your hyperlinks are in the mail, that is very, very dangerous. And whenever you're using the word free, try, offer, something and all, we are tempted to click. But when you click that time, what happened? You will be extracted out of it. So that is called clickjacking attack. Like juice jacking, session hijacking, clickjacking also, we should be very careful. So whenever you are connected to the network, you should be very careful. Whenever your system is not connected to the internet, you are safe. Whenever the system is
Sir,
connected to the internet, you are
actually, all the systems having the virus defender, right? So that is
Hmm.
also going to check the viruses at everything during the internal system itself. But still, people are using external antiviruses. So how can you suggest that? What is the use of this defender? Virus defender is there, right?
actually it is again the level of application. So for example, a student who is only taking the data from the university website or only the local things is doing, he don't want to sophisticatedly, he cannot protect his devices with the antivirus and all. But when I'm working in a company where I'm dealing with lot of sensitive data, that time I should defend my data using kind of antivirus, other things and all. Normally, every network devices are actually dual functionality only. Not only doing the network work, it will do the security works also. But the attackers are very smart. In Ames Hospital, what happened? There is something called ransomware attack happened.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir. I know.
ransomware attack happened. So that ransomware is very dangerous. They will encrypt the data and completely, if you want to have the key, then only you will decrypt it. For
Yes.
giving the encryption key, they will charge some amount, ransom. It's called
Yes.
ransomware
Yes.
attack. That is also in
Yes.
VASP.
Yes.
Okay, so that for those kind of things, no, a huge organization, when they are dealing with medical data, financial data, any sensitive data, they should have lot and lot of antivirus. For users like us, we don't want to have those kind of things because silver coin don't want to be protected by golden bugs. Okay, because security is luxury. So if
Yes,
you
sir.
are a CEO level of person, definitely you have to be very careful with your things, CEO or other high level. That's why we call it as APT attacks, advanced persistent threat level attacks, and spear phishing. They target on one particular person. They throw the spear on the fish and they will catch. It's called spear phishing. Those attacks we should be very careful. And one more thing I told you. You asked like people are using a lot of files. I'm telling you, whenever you are downloading the torrent files, no, some kind of illegitimate files, especially in movie downloading the movies, that and all, they're using tor. Tor is nothing
Oh,
but the onion routing. The tar
yes.
name is nothing but the onion routing. Onion routing, you know how the onion looks. There are a lot of layers are there. So attackers, 1 minute he's showing the system, the server is in New Zealand. Next second, the system is in Singapore. Next, it is in India. It is like, it is keep on going. You can watch many movies like that. The attackers cannot. So they are using the tar files. So whenever you are downloading those movies in the file, no, you are in the trap. And you are not getting attacked because you are not in the interest of attacker. If you are in the interest of attacker, when you are using those files, no, they can track your files, anything. So
Yes, sir.
you
Most
should
of the
not
people are
use.
using DuckDuckGo also for
Yes, yes, yes.
security purpose. DuckDuckGo is one of the best browser for secure data transmission because
There are a
unauthorized.
lot of secure things are there. I'm telling you, like when you are in online, you should be careful. That's the only lesson I want to tell. I don't want to tell the brand names for many
Yeah, yeah.
reasons. I don't want to tell
Yes.
I don't want to tell some software names because of the reasons. Because ignorance is the best intelligence in cybersecurity. I don't want to teach you the harmness and don't want to tell don't try this because human intention is they will go and touch. So that's why I'm not telling about so many things about dark web I want to share, but I didn't tell anything.
Yes.
There are a lot of
Yes.
things are there. But why I don't want to tell you is because students also there in the forum. We should be responsible. We don't want to tell such things, but you should be very careful. Whenever you are on online, be careful.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. That's why I'm asking, sir, the best browser because most of the people nowadays the screen time is very, very high. So unfortunately, people are clicking the links because when they're going to open any job website or anything else, so many unfortunate links are coming. Unfortunately, they are clicking also. They don't know. So that's why I'm asking this question for entire people purpose only. I ask. That's it, sir.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. Anything else? Any other questions? Okay. Okay, Vamsi. If that is the case,
Yes.
I'll just take a leave from all of you. Thank you all. Thank you so much. You are a wonderful audience. I really enjoyed this session very much. I never feel it's like an online. I have the feel like you people are watching that. I'm really happy. Thank you all. All the very best for all your careers. Thank you once again for the management of Madanapalle Institute of Technology. And thank you for the chance, everything. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good night. Yeah.
Good night, sir. Good night.
See you.
See you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.